Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're taking a small detour from our normal content and we're going to be talking about portable power solutions, okay? And I'm going to tell you this right now, none of this video is sponsored, nobody sent any of this stuff to us. I'm not here to bash on any of these companies and whatnot. We're just going to talk to you about a situation that we ran into not too long ago, and then we built the solution and we thought we'd share it with you mainly because it seems to work pretty well for us, okay? So with that being said, let's get into it, all right? So like I said, there's a lot of portable power stations that are currently on the market. A lot of them work really well, some of them don't, right? So just to give you an example, like I said, this is not sponsored. This right here is a Delta 2. I have an extra battery that we've been using to do certain things or whatnot. But this unit, I would say on sale, you could probably get for like $1,200 with a extra battery. But that total capability of watt hours you have contained right there is close to about 2 kilowatt hours, right? And the power being charged into that is just, depending on how much you're drawing, most likely is not going to be offsetting the amount that you're drawing out. So that's kind of a situation that we ran into not too long ago. Just to give you some more information, a few weeks ago there was a unexpected power outage that lasted close to an entire day. Like I said, totally unexpected for people like us or people like me, or if you have a portable power solution, right, like generators or whatnot, home backups, then that's not really a problem, right? Because you can just hook that up and get away with it. But there's a lot of people that we know that just don't have those type of solutions, and even if they were to get one, they don't necessarily have a power inlet type situation. So we're here to talk about more of a point source power, or power exactly where you need it, not necessarily the home backup. But if you're kind of in that situation and you can't do that, then you're going to have a point of use power solution, right? And tool companies make these and all these kinds of things like that, but all the ones that are made by the tool companies really don't have a way to keep power going into it as you are using it, right? Let's take the Milwaukee one, for example, even the brand new one, the MX one, right? The MX carry-on, then even the brand new one they just released on the cart, or even the DeWalt one, there's just no way to put power into it from solar as you're actually using it, okay? So actually there's no way to put power into it from solar regardless, okay? So that's kind of a situation that we ran into. People have built these types of solutions on carts. I'm not gonna say this is my original idea, but for people like us who have trucks and trailers and stuff like that, that's easy to transport those big carts, right? But for people without trucks or trailers, if you just have, let's say, a sedan or even an SUV, you really can't transport those big mobile carts, right? So we built a solution that really works well for us, and we've used it pretty well, and we thought we'd share it with you mainly because we really like this solution and probably has some potential to take off if people want to modify it and do things like that. So let's take a closer look at it and then we'll talk to you about its capabilities. All right, so the first thing I did want to share with you is that this is a mobile system, meaning you can pull it and kind of carry it, kind of similar like you would on a Delta Pro. You can pull this handle out and you can lift this up and it rolls, okay? It's pretty heavy and I'm in an awkward position right now, but it does roll. And according to the specs that's listed on the website for the box, it is within its weight limit. Although I'm gonna say it's pretty much at its max capacity. You probably won't want to be pulling it too much or too hard, but if you had solid ground you could roll it on, especially on like a hardwood floor or something like that, it's gonna work just fine, okay? So just to point that out. Now let's get into it. So this right here is an EG4 3K hybrid all-in-one inverter. And this inverter, sometimes it'll go on sale and stuff like that, will be somewhere between $700 to $750. But this is pretty much a all-in-one inverter that comes with everything you need to get started. So if you buy this thing from Signature Solar, it puts out 3,000 watts single phase, and you can put in, it'll even tell you right here, you can put in, what is it, max solar charge input 5,000 watts, okay? So 5,000 watts of solar can go into this and charge it, and it can even, bypass utility and stuff like that. It's got all this stuff going on. But the reason that it's a hybrid inverter is mainly because you can use an AC plug to charge it, you can draw power out from it, and it can kind of switch between the two while also putting in solar to charge it, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I don't have the solar stuff hooked up right now. We did take that off mainly just because it was wires hanging out and we just didn't want to deal with that. So this right here is a Nader DC rated breaker. Like I mentioned earlier, this breaker comes with the inverter when you buy it. And then this breaker, all we really just took a OMT and just cut out this box and just glued this thing on here, and this breaks the connection between the battery and the inverter, right? And if you're getting a little bit confused of why this is green, mainly because the way that you look at it on this type of breaker is that when it's off, it's green. Green means good. Usually people are going to get confused because it's inverted. Green means it's on, right? But in this case, green actually means it's off. When you actually have it on, it's red or orange, whatever you want to call it, which means danger, okay? So usually, you know, some people say if it's red, oh no, the circuit breaker's, you know, tripped or whatnot. But in this case, it's a different story. So think about it as red, you're dead. Green, you're good, okay? So like I said, right now we cut off the breaker. You can kind of see the wheels here. It's got this, what do you call it, metal axis or whatever that kind of goes all the way across, so it's not like it's going to break off the plastic, and it's kind of why this box is a little bit more heavily rated than some of the other boxes. But this box can easily handle, not easily, this box can handle the battery, the weight of the battery and the inverter. All right, so looking at the business end, let's talk about the stuff you got going on. Right now you have a negative wire here, you have a positive wire here, PV input here, you have AC output here. This red wire is pretty much the AC output wire, but the ground of it is connected to this bolt right here, or this screw right here. You may not be able to see it very well, but you can look up other pictures and stuff like that, and that's what that's connected to. And then this right here is AC in. This I have connected to this port right here, so in case I need to charge, I can just pull this open, plug any kind of normal standard issue extension cord in here, and it will continue to charge, no problem. I even have this rubber boot on it, so you don't have to worry about it. There is a circuit breaker right here in case, you know, you were putting too much into it, and it will break that circuit. And if you want to turn it on, you can hit this power and turn it on. Obviously right now it's not going to turn on because I have the breaker off right. And this right here is the battery box. Inside this battery box is a sealed, waterproof 48 volt EG4 lithium iron phosphate 5 kilowatt hour battery. I know that's a mouthful and a lot to say, but let's go ahead and say this is pretty much a 48 volt battery from EG4. It's completely waterproof, and it's now even double waterproof being inside its box, but it's, you know, completely pointless. I did find that this battery fits almost perfectly inside of this Ridgid toolbox. You can kind of see it bending out a little bit, but besides that, this is probably the best toolbox I found for this battery. I did go through a bunch of toolboxes to figure it out. It won't fit in the Milwaukee Packout, won't fit in the DeWalt, won't fit in the first gen, or actually even the second gen toolbox, that the big one that stacks on top of all the other ones, without modification. You can fit it in the second generation Ridgid 2.0 box with a little bit of modification, but it's a pretty tough fit. So this box right here, you can pick up at your any local Home Depot or whatnot, but it fits this battery perfectly, and that's kind of why we went with this battery, okay? There's another reason why we went with this battery and not the server rack battery, and it's also because this battery is encased in all plastic, and the server rack battery is pretty much an entire server rack, which adds a lot of additional weight to it, and in this type of system, we do not want that additional weight, okay? So while we have this open, let's take a look at it right here. I pretty much have this inverter installed on here with the riv nuts, okay? If you don't know what a riv nut is, it's pretty much a drill hole. You stick a rivet that kind of has a threaded nut type thing, and you can pull the rivet, and it installs that nut pretty much wherever you're installing it. This is, I think it's like glass reinforced fiber plastic or something like that, so it's a little bit tougher than your standard plastic, but it's pretty much toolbox plastic, okay? It's not great, it's not the best. If I were to do it over again, I would improve it a little bit by putting a washer on there before pulling the riv nut, but I just didn't have that size washer at the time, and you know, like I said, we just threw this together during an emergency, so it does work. And then I also have, so the 3 points that mount the inverter 1, 2, and 3 are on there. I also have it glued, and then also on the top I have it Lexel down with some construction adhesive and stuff like that. So this inverter is not going anywhere, okay? Anyways, the point is that right here we have the negative cable, positive cable, the AC input cable, and that's only 3 cables that's coming in from this inverter into this battery. The positive cable goes over here. Not sure you can see it. We'll show you around the other side. Positive cable goes over here to the circuit breaker, DC rated circuit breaker, and it breaks the circuit between the inverter and the battery. And that DC rated circuit breaker does come with this inverter when you buy it, okay? So that's all that's really going on in this box. It's literally just holding a battery and the wires that are connected to it. And on this side, there's enough space here where the wires sit evenly here, so you really don't have to do anything. To put this thing together, you just put the battery in there. The battery will stay in there pretty sturdily, mainly because the wheel well that's in there kind of holds this battery from going all the way back. So that circuit breaker that's in there is pretty safe. It's not going to get damaged by any means. So this battery was almost perfectly made for this box, or the other way around. Either way, rib nuts here, all this stuff going on here, and that's all you really got to do, right? So I can put this down. I can just close it up if you need to. And there's really no reason to open it while you're operating it. All right, so let me show you operating it. It's pretty simple, okay? All you got to do is two things. One, you come over here and you hit the breaker, right? The breaker is now on. You come over here and hit the power button on the inverter. Inverter power's on, okay? So with the inverter on, let me go ahead and show you the surge strip that we put on here. And it's really just a power strip. And I guess there's three things. You can hit the power to the surge strip in case you had it off. I had it off. You can just leave it on if you want. There's really no need for it. But to show you that it does work, we're gonna take this Wagner heat gun 236-3334, right? Anyways, the point is that this is pretty much a 1500 watt heat gun. We'll go ahead and drop this in here, right? Turn this heat mode on. Turn it to maximum heat, maximum fan speed. If it's blinking on screen, it's mainly just due to the frequency, but it does indeed work, okay? So this problem right here, or this heat gun right here, working full blast, and if you go take a look at the inverter, it says it's roughly about 50% load, 1500 watts, okay? So I could let this run. Let's just go ahead and let it run, and that's pretty much how that works. Let's go ahead and take a look at the battery BMS that's built in, okay? So, all right, so right now the inverter is still on. Let's just say whatever reason it's low on power and we just wanted to charge it, or you had access to power and you wanted to use the power from the wall to power your load and charge the battery, you can go ahead and just take your any standard issue extension cord, open the port, plug it in there, and it will go ahead and start charging the battery. You can set the charge profile of the battery, how fast you want it to charge or whatnot. I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe with this battery you can charge the battery at 30 amps, okay? So don't confuse that with the power going into this, coming out from this wall outlet, mainly because the battery is a 48 volt battery. When it charges, it's going to be somewhere between 50 to 52 volts, right? And you're charging, let's just say, for numbers to be easy, 50 volts times 300 or 30 amps, right? That is not 30 amps from at 120 volts from this outlet, okay? So don't worry about that. And if you want to charge it faster, you could just program the inverter to charge faster. I think I have it set to like 10 amps or whatnot, mainly because I don't know where I'm going to plug this into. And sure, I could probably draw 15 amps out of a 15 amp outlet, right? But I don't know if there's going to be other circuits on that outlet whenever I plug it in, right? So you can change it real time, like quickly, easily. Just press a few buttons and you'll be good. I'm not sure if you've heard it, but the fans did kick on, so this is charging. All right, and that's a portable power station I really wanted to share with y'all, and you can actually charge this with solar like we talked about earlier, and this solution has been working out really well for us, okay? Like I said, this is a 3000 watt inverter, so you can obviously run, you know, up to 3000 watts. It's got nice surge capacity. You can start up a miter saw depending on, you know, how big your miter saw and stuff like that, and other power tools, which have worked really well. We've actually used this in the field, and it's worked out really nice for us. There are some tools that it won't start up, and for certain, like say huge table saws or whatnot, or any massive appliance that you really need to start up, you can just plug in a point of use soft starter, something like this. We've been using this too. This right here is a soft starter kit. I think it's a GS10, I think. Yeah, GS10, and that one's rated for, I think it was like 15 amps. But it's got a pretty much unlimited duty cycle, and if you plug this into here, right, you can plug this into whatever tool you need to plug it into. You got pretty much a soft starter kit. You don't have to worry about that surge tripping the breaker on or overloading the inverter, which, you know, if you're only using one or two tools at a time, like big power tools, that's not going to be a problem. Or you may not even need the soft starter, but, you know, if just in case you're worried about certain things like that, or worried about surge and stuff like that, just use a soft starter, right? You can go in and pick that stuff up. So the question you're gonna say is, well, why would I build this and not just buy like the Delta Pro, right? So let's talk about that. This is not the Delta Pro, but let's just take the biggest portable, like mainstream power station, okay, which I think is going to be probably the Delta Pro because it has wheels. You can move it around. The big Blue Eddies and stuff like that, they don't have wheels, so I don't think it's, you're probably not going to be trying to bring that on the job site and use it. Maybe you are, I don't know, who knows. But let's take the Delta Pro. So Delta Pro, I believe right now, it costs somewhere around $3,600, $3,700, $3,800, $3,600, $3,800, okay? And then that has a 3,600 watt hour battery and also can put out, I believe, 3,600 watts, so 3.6 kilowatts, right? So yes, technically speaking, that has a higher inverter capacity at 3,600 watts versus this one at 3,000 watts. But the battery on that one is, I believe it's also lithium iron phosphate, but it only has 3,600 watt hours of capacity, whereas the battery in here has a 5 kilowatt hour capacity. Just allows you to pretty much go for a longer time, right? This battery in here is also waterproof, not that it really matters inside this case and stuff like that, but why wouldn't you buy that, okay? Like I said, that Delta Pro is $3,600. I'm talking about how much this costs, okay? So this inverter is roughly about $750. The battery in here, I believe if you buy it new, it's going to be, I don't remember how much it is. Let's say $1,500-$1,600. It's going to be pretty pricey, but you can buy the battery, and at least every time I go look at it, it seems to be in stock on Signature Solar's website as a clearance refurb for right around $1,100, right? So even if you round it up, let's just say $1,200 for that plus $750 for this, let's just say $800. Let's just make this $800. That's just $2,000, right? So $2,000 plus some, surge strips and stuff like that in this box. Let's add another $100. Let's say $2,100, even $2,200. Okay, $2,200 for this setup, or $3,600 for the Delta Pro setup, right? That's just a lot, right? And now, the Delta Pro is scalable because you can connect extra batteries to it. This system is also scalable because you can just connect up as many batteries as you need. You can just buy these boxes and the batteries and plug, just put only the batteries in the box and just plug them in using cables or whatever you want here. Anderson connectors, power pole connectors, Speak-On, Nutrix Speak-On connectors, TrueCon, whatever you call them. You can do whatever you want. It's infinitely scalable, right? The point is that this system has worked out really well for us because, like I said, it's easily portable, convertible, and the PV input takes 5,000 watts of solar. That's more power coming in than this inverter puts out, allowing the battery to charge during the day so you can also use it at night. And all this while you're actually using it, okay? So this has components you can also switch out. You could build it whichever way you want. You can customize it. You can get 2 of these and put this in split phase so you can get 240 out of it and stuff like that. So anyways, the point is you can do that and it works really well. The downside to this mod is that you can't stack any of the other Ridgid toolboxes on top. And I tried really hard over the last couple of days to find some type of Ridgid box that this EG4 inverter would fit in, and there just isn't. I tried modifying certain things to make it work like that, and it just won't work. I came to the conclusion, only way this inverter is going to fit inside a Ridgid box is pretty much you take it apart and assemble it inside the Ridgid box, which I'm just not going to do. It's just not worth it, which is kind of why it's just set up like this. So it may look clunky or whatever it may be, but hey, it works, and we've used it in other point of solutions, and even on parts where you need to run, let's just say, a bounce house for even just a little bit, you could go ahead and do that in the middle of nowhere, right, without running an extension cord out there, okay? So portable point of use solutions, this thing has saved us a lot, been very useful. Movie night, theater night, all kinds of things. It works perfectly. You can use it for tailgating if you needed to. So anyways, the point is, I just want to throw this out there to share some things that we had with you. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.